If you've got a comment, call Will now on 0818 300 103.
0818 300 103.
Or text us 083 3010 103. The Midlands Today Show with Will Faulkner.
Midlands 103.
Okay, well, as you can guess, it's not Will Faulkner today. It's Clara Walshe with you this morning, and I am joined in studio by Keith Barry. And I'm kind of excited and kind of nervous and all at the same time. But before we get on to all of your magic and all of that, what else?
Weirdness.
Yeah, all of that. Mentalism.
Hypnotism. I can hypnotise if you like.
Yeah, that'd be great, actually. I'd sleep through it and finish, yeah.
You like,
no, I've never been hypnotised in my life. First of all, I want to go to, because you're in a lot of the papers this morning, and I especially want to go with the match tonight against Estonia, which is crucial for us.
Yeah, of course, yeah.
You have a prediction. Is that very risky, doing something like that, putting it out on the line?
Well, it's always risky, yeah, of course. But the last time I really kind of did this, I did it for the Leinster match, the Leinster final in 2009, the Heineken Cup final, and I predicted that they would win by 3 points. And I did that on Dublin's 98 FM, which I'm sure some of your listeners would be familiar with. And Dermot and Dave, who were presenting at the time, Dave put on, I can't remember exactly how much it was, but a couple of €100 on them to win. And Dermot put on a substantial amount as well. So anyway, Dave walked away with €3,000 having won. Dermot walked away with 1,000. I put a bet on, I got 1,000. It was 20-1 odds at the time. And Paddy Power attributed 250,000 of his losses towards me saying that.
Okay, the mission. How much am I gambling? Will O'Callaghan, what are the odds? Sinead, get Will O'Callaghan.
I'll tell you what the odds are. I know, well, yesterday they were 17-2 odds.
17-2.
So depending on how many people bet since I mentioned yesterday, it's 17-2 odds for them to win 2-1 tonight, which is what I'm saying. And Paddy Power's already said, I think in the papers today, that they reckon they might lose 25,000 if that happens.
Yeah,
but I actually think it's going to be substantially more than that. I think a lot more people are going to bet than Paddy Power is expecting. So I think it could be upwards of 50,000. So we'll see what happens.
Will you find angry people now if people go out and put money on? And
but I don't tell people to put money on. I just tell them what my gut feeling is. So it's up to you guys whether you want to decide whether to gamble or not. I'm not really a gambler myself. Every now and then I'll have a flutter. So don't get angry at me if you bet and lose. I'm just saying that that's what I believe the score is going to be. But sure, who am I? I'm not psychic. I don't believe in psychics either.
Yeah, but we tend to kind of go with what you say because you tend to get things right. But like, if you're not psychic, where is this prediction coming from?
Well. You see, this is what I haven't really spoken about too much before. But for instance, the Leinster match that happened a couple of years back in 2009. When I said that on air on 98 FM, they ran with it in a big way. In other words, they kept mentioning it on the hour, every hour. And the Leinster players obviously heard about it and they knew about it. But then they realised how big this monster had grown. So the question you have to ask yourself, is it a prediction or am I actually attempting to subliminally influence the players themselves through the use of mass media? In other words, there's absolutely no doubt in my mind that Robbie Keane and all the lads out in Estonia tonight will hear about my prediction being 2-1. So the question is, will they have an extra edge? Will they pay any attention at all? It's up to you guys to decide that. But that's the question you should ask yourselves. Am I actually really predicting or am I influencing behaviour?
You're saying that Robbie Keane's going to be out there now and it's a 1-1 at the moment and he's going, no, we have to get the next one for Keith Barry.
Oh, no, not at all. It's nothing to do with me. He'll just realise that the pressure is on from the whole of Ireland, that they've bet for them to win 2-1. So it actually ends up being nothing to do with me at all. And they won't even think about it on a conscious level at all. But on a subconscious level, they'll realise in recessionary times when people have actually gambled a lot of money, that in the back of their minds, yes, it can kick in. You know, you would be very surprised at how subliminal persuasion and influence happens on a daily basis. And there are actually people called hidden persuaders. That's their title, and they're hired by high-end companies to persuade you and me and everybody else
to buy stuff,
but all on a subliminal level. Like, we're all aware of advertising signs that are out there, but these are subliminal persuaders. These are people that you don't even know exist, and they're hired by high-end companies to basically determine what we buy, what we purchase all on a subliminal level. Even now, politicians are being they're hiring hypnotists such as me and other hypnotists. They'll never admit to it, but to teach them linguistic persuasive tactics and linguistic hypnosis.
Okay, who's approached you?
Well, I'm not commenting on whether or not I've been approached, but for instance, this goes way back to the days of Stalin and Hitler. Like, it's known now that Stalin had a guy called Wolf Messing, and he taught Stalin all of his subliminal linguistics. And this always only comes out after these people, of course, have passed away, because they can't speak about it when it's happening. And Hitler had a guy called Erich Jan Hannessen, and Erich Jan Hannessen basically taught Hitler all of his brainwashing tactics. All these autobiographies and biographies are out now. As a matter of fact, Hitler eventually thought Hannessen knew too much because he thought he was psychic, and he had him assassinated. These are true stories. So, Obama, when I listen to somebody like Obama, I'm not too sure that the Irish politicians are using it just yet. I don't. I won't comment on what.
So you haven't been approached by an Irish politician?
Well, no comment. I might have been approached. I might have said no. I don't really watch too much of Irish politics. But if you look at Obama.
Yeah.
And the language that he uses, it is hypnotic language. It's not hypnosis.
Hypnotic language and hypnotic movements as well.
Yeah, absolutely. Their gestures, their eye movements, like even down to the tie that he wears. Like Obama, just before he went into office, every single day he wore a blue tie. I think it was 20 days in a row. He only wore a blue tie. And a blue tie is the type of tie, believe it or not, that subliminally attracts you to that person because they're more trustworthy. If he wore red, it's symbolises aggression. Most people would realise that if it's pointed out to them, but they wouldn't know that he's wearing a blue tie every single day unless you showed. Also, Bill Clinton, when he was in the whole Monica Lewinsky trial, because he was lying the whole way through the trial, it was only noticed after the fact. People didn't notice it when it was happening. He touched his nose, I think it was 22 times during the trial, and touching your nose is a defence mechanism when you're lying. So all of these things, they're real, they're out there. People can learn about this stuff, if people want to learn more about it, all they need to do is, log on to Twitter, follow me, Keith P. Barry on Twitter, and I answer every single question that I get through Twitter personally myself. I take the time every day to do it. So I can point people out to books and DVDs where they can actually learn this stuff if they're interested in it.
I think you should be very glad that people are like me. They're interested in it but don't want to bother learning about it.
Well, I suppose you don't want to learn too much.
Mystery with you then, it keeps it.
Yeah, but I kind of like explaining some of it and then leaving some of it a mystery as well,
Yeah, okay. We're going to take a break, but I'm really excited about talking about your Hollywood involvements, so we're going to come back and talk about that.
Great.
The Midlands Today Show with Clara Walshe.
Midlands 103.
And you're very welcome back to Midlands Today. We're joined in studio by Mentalist Keith Barry. I just find that word very weird. I always think of a heavy metal rocker or something.
Yeah, well, I suppose it brings up all kinds of connotations in people's minds. Mental. He's mental. Put him into an asylum or a mental institution. So I suppose a mentalist it's probably the most accurate description of what I do. But really, I just see myself as an entertainer now more than anything. But yeah, mentalist is really, for anybody who doesn't know, the definition really of a mentalist is a magician who performs magic of the mind as opposed to sleight of hand magic. I started out doing sleight of hand magic and tricks and illusions and things like that.
You probably progressed off that when you were 12 or 13 or something.
Yeah, exactly. And then when I was in college, when I was 17, 18 in college, I was studying chemistry up in Galway, and my wife now, who was my girlfriend then, she was studying psychology, and that's when I started studying her psychology books more than my own chemistry books, and started mixing psychology and magic,
She must have hated you, did she?
No, she didn't mind at all, actually. It's kind of funny, she didn't care. I was just robbing her books and learning all about the social experiments that people were doing at the time and all that kind of stuff, and then just started messing around trying to figure out how you could blend the two different crafts together.
Wow. Okay. Yeah, well, okay, that's different. I want to get on to this role that you've landed in a Hollywood film. What are you up to?
Well, I've just been hired in the last couple of days as a consultant on a Hollywood movie which stars, it's called Now You See Me, and it stars Morgan Freeman, Michael Caine, Woody Harrelson, Isla Fisher, so big actors. And yeah,
huge names.
Yeah, and I have to be honest, I kind of pinch myself when stuff like this happens because, Morgan Freeman would be, probably my favourite actor of all time, especially since the days of Shawshank Redemption and right up till now, I followed all his movies. So it's a magic, mentalism and hypnotism heist movie. So if you can imagine Ocean's 11, but all the characters are magicians, mentalists and hypnotists. That's what this movie is kind of about. And they've hired me to be the magic and mentalism consultant. So in other words, to keep it as true to real life as possible. So I'm working every night at the moment on Skype with Ed Solomon. And Ed Solomon, he wrote Men in Black. He wrote Bill and Ted's Great Adventures. And I'm assisting him in the writing of the screenplay. So just helping him out when it comes to the magic and mentalism aspects of things. And it's really exciting. It's completely different.
It's not like The Illusionist. I loved The Illusionist.
No, I love The Illusionist. I really thought The Prestige was very good as well.
Excellent.
But completely different than those. This is set in modern day times. Both The Prestige and The Illusionist were kind of set in, way back in the 30s or 40s or whatever it was. Whereas this is set in modern day times, modern magicians, modern hypnotists, and as I said, robbing banks and almost like Robin Hood style. And people can find out some information about it online if they're interested in it. It's called Now You See Me. But yeah, it's due for release, I think, in 2013, and they start filming in mid-January. So there's a good chance after my tour, as you know, I'm touring with the 8 Deadly Sins in January and February. So I'm touring all over the country. I suppose the nearest ones to here would be Portlaoise and a few others. People can check out the dates, keithbarry.com for that. But I'm touring because of the tour in January and February. I can't go on set for the movie, but there's a good chance that in March and April, while they're still filming, I'll have to fly and actually be on set with the actors and just help them out,
I wanted to know if you were actually going to have a cameo role in it.
Well, there is talk of it, and there's a good chance that I'll have some kind of a cameo role in it. I'm sure it'll be just either a non-speaking role or perhaps one or two lines in it. Of course, I'll be pushing for the one or two lines bit.
Darn right.
Yeah, I don't want to be standing in Starbucks just handing over a coffee to Morgan Freeman and taking his money or something. I'd love to have one or two little lines.
Sure, you can just go over and hypnotise the director and
Well, who's to say I haven't already done that? I just can't mention it on air because then they'll fire me. But yeah. I've talked to the director and the producers out there.
Is that your phone buzzing?
It is my phone buzzing. Sorry, I'll turn it off right now.
Popular,
I know.
It?
Yeah. Well, hang on, let's see what it is. Oh, sorry. Can't answer that. It's just Woody Harrelson trying to figure out. Sorry, Woody, can't talk right now. So the phone is off there. But yeah, so it's. I have to tell you, as I said, it's really exciting. It's very different than what I've done. So in other words, it's very technical. Because I've got to look into historical aspects of magic and mentalism, make sure that everything that they're doing is accurate. And I hadn't thought before that even though these actors, they can find out, I suppose, from researching themselves online and in books, about magicians and mentalists, actually they don't really know how to act as a mentalist and magician. And that's why I've been hired, is to kind of tutor them a little bit, which is a little bit scary as well.
Yeah.
Because these are massive actors. They've been in many, many films.
Have you met them yet?
Not yet, no. Because they're still rewriting the screenplay at the moment. So that's what I'm doing at the moment, every night on Skype. Just helping them writing the screenplay, and that'll be finished in a couple of weeks. So once that's said and done and the screenplay is locked in, that's when the actors really come on board kind of full time into the project. And when that happens, then we'll go to the next stage,
Do you have to keep, are you researching then techniques to make it, what I'm trying to say, is it a chore for you, or do you know all the stuff straight off the top of your head, or do you have to look up the most latest?
It's neither. First of all, it's not a chore for me because I just love what I do with a passion, and really what I am now, I suppose, is a student of human behaviour. That's the best kind of description of what I do. So I study people, and I have a huge library at home. I just paid a lot of money to ship my books home from the States as well, because I had an apartment over there which I've just closed up, and shipped all my books home. And I love reading. I don't like reading fiction books or anything like that. I love reading psychology books, autobiographies and biographies about the people I just mentioned. So I don't know nearly as much as I'd like to know, and I am very well read on the historical aspects of all this, but there's still a massive amount of research to do. If the writer comes up with, for instance, a specific scene where he might want something very specific to happen, then I've got to research that, make sure it hasn't existed in movies before, such as The Prestige or The Illusionist. So I've got to rewatch both of those. I have them out on my desk to watch tonight when I get back. I have a gig tonight. When I get back from that, I'll be straight in watching The Prestige and The Illusionist. But it's exciting. I love what I do. So it's not a chore for me at all. It's just another aspect of, I suppose, my passion and really just enjoying it,
Let's go back to your own gigs then. You say it's January and February?
Yeah, this is going to be the biggest tour I've ever done. Normally I tour just for January, but because I haven't done a tour in quite a while now, we've decided to tour in February as well. So I'm doing dates all over the country.
Okay, I'm going to tell people the Midland dates. February 10th, 11th and That's Friday and Saturday. That's the Heritage Hotel Portlaoise. February the 12th, that's Sunday, and that's Mullingar Arts Centre.
Yeah, and this is the Eight Deadly Sins tour, which hasn't toured before. It's completely different than my Asylum tour, which was the last one that I toured with. So with the Eight Deadly Sins, I decided to theme the show around the 7 existing deadly sins, and then I've added an 8th deadly sin. Now, to find out obviously what that is, you'll have to come to the show and see the show. But for instance, I addressed the whole area of psychics, and I did mention Wolf Messing and Eric Jan Hannesen, and I addressed psychics in the context of one of the sins. But I basically get 4 people up on stage. One person basically is a judge or an adjudicator, and the other 3 people, I cold read them, I hot read them, and I basically do what psychics do. But I tell everybody I'm fake. Nothing I'm doing is real. But by the end of the 20 minutes on stage, I have 3 people who actually believe I'm a real psychic. And we've got this whole, I suppose, dichotomy of people saying I'm psychic and I'm saying, no, I'm fake. And so in other words, I tell these 3 people stuff about themselves that I couldn't have known in advance. And I tell them all about, dead loved ones who've passed over and all that kind of stuff. But it is very humorous as well.
How do you know? How do you know about dead loved ones that passed over?
Well, that's what people want to know. So it's basically the exact same techniques that psychics use. So in other words, cold reading techniques, reading somebody's body language, their eye movements, their pupil dilation. Also, people tend to give off verbally information that they don't realise. So the end of 20 minutes on stage, people forget about all the stuff that you miss. In other words, stuff that they don't get right. And then a good hypnotist or psychic will repackage the information. So in other words, make the people forget about the stuff that they've missed and only concentrate on the stuff that they've hit on. In other words, that your dead granny named Maura, she died of cancer, liver cancer, blah, blah, blah. And they repackage all that within a minute. And you go home believing that it was real. Whereas, as a matter of fact, it was just a whole host of different techniques blended together to make somebody believe that you're psychic. In the show, I address Psychic Sally and all those different psychics. And I have a good old laugh with it. I mean, that's the important part is, with the 8 Deadly Sins, I put the show together to make people laugh their heads off first, forget about their everyday lives, and be transformed into a fantasy world. Now, in saying that, it is quite dark and twisted as well. So, for instance, under the sin of greed, every single night, I get 2 strong guys from the audience and I give them a 100-foot rope and I say, tie me as quickly as you can to the chair, as tightly as you want with a 100-foot rope. And they do. And I mean, they really go for it. I mean, I end up getting rope burns and dislocated thumbs. I won't go into it, but I get injured every night. I had small injuries, so I don't mind too much, but injuries nonetheless. And then at the end of it, I say, if I can't get out of the rope in less time than you've tied me up in, I'll give you €250 each. So that's why it's all about greed. How greedy are they and how tightly are they going to bind me? And then to top it all off, just my own personal twist on an escape, I give them a roll of cling film and they wrap my head in cling film.
I've heard of this. Did you have a near-death experience with this?
Well, I wouldn't say near-death. It's a bit of stress. But yes, I did one night. I performed the 8 Deadly Sins 18 nights in the Olympia. And I passed out on stage. I couldn't get out of the rope in less time than they tied me up. So I had to pay them €250 each. And even though I passed out for about 5 seconds. And then it kind of came to again. And I had to break the leg off a mahogany chair with all my strength to get out because they tied me so tightly. And I also got injured on the night. So, and some people, it was kind of funny because the papers got wind of it, of course. And people said, oh, it's probably just a publicity stunt. But the funny thing is, it was the 16th night and the last 2 nights were sold out. So there was absolutely no reason for me to do a publicity stunt at that stage. So, gospel truth, it wasn't a publicity stunt. I paid the 2 guys €250 each. So every night there's money up for grabs as well in the show.
Your wife, after that incident, she must be nagging you.
Yeah, well, it's kind of to backtrack a bit. When I come up with a show such as the 8 Deadly Sins, where she's not too happy is when I come into the kitchen one day and say, look, Mairead, I've got a great idea for the show. I want you to get Brianna, who's our daughter, get her out of the room. So, she's got to go play with toys or whatever. Now, I want you to take, and I go to the kitchen drawer and I say, I want you to take this cling film and wrap it around my head. And that's the moment where she goes, what are you doing now? I said, look, just don't question me, just do it. So then she wraps the cling film and I just stand there and see how long I can last without oxygen and without being able to see and all that kind of stuff. And then I told her when she was wrapping my head in cling film, look, if I start going blue or look like I'm, just pop a hole in the mouth. But then you figure out that you can't just poke your hole through or your finger through. You've got to use a knife and then that gets dangerous in case you cut. So but she kind of turns a blind eye to it at this stage because she knows I'm going to do it regardless. So even if she moans to me, even if she gives out to me, I'm just going to do it anyway. So
she must be brilliant, because I don't know a lot of women that would put up with that. I mean, it's great that you're doing so well and you're so successful and you're bringing home all the money, but, you know, it's a big risk.
It's true. No, she is brilliant, because, you know, it was more in the early days before we had, we've got one child now and there's another one on the way due on December 18th. So only a couple of weeks left now. Thanks. It was more in the early days. I used to go away for 3 months at a time, come back for a day and then go for another 3 months. And that was really hard, you know, just seeing each other for a day here and there. But now, you know, I kind of made the rule a few years ago when we had a child, Brianna. I decided, look, we won't go more than 4 weeks without seeing each other. So either she'd fly over to the States or I fly home, and that works out. But yeah, she is brilliant, and she is more brilliant for not asking questions. I always say, don't ask questions where none are required. So in other words, just don't ask me what I'm doing in the Olympia. Just come on opening night.
I'd kill you.
And, yeah, I know. Oh, most women are like that, but she's great.
I've been told by Sinead, who's giving me dirty looks, that you have to do a few tricks.
Oh yeah, of course. Well, actually, I've kind of stopped doing tricks anymore, and this is kind of
Sinead, he stopped doing tricks.
Yeah,
Look,
there's
you're
no tricks,
making him
Sinead.
do it.
Okay, so yeah, let's try something real quick. I'm going to grab. Let's see, I've got a wallet here. I'm going to grab a piece of paper from this wallet. Okay, so here's what I want you to do. I want you to go back to your very first kiss. Do that for me.
Okay.
Okay. And now, be honest, when's the last time you thought about this? Was it weeks, months,
Jesus,
years?
Years ago, I'd say.
Okay, good. Okay, I want you to go back to that moment in time. Okay, go back to that moment in time. Oh yeah. Okay, so see, so you shivered that time. So it wasn't necessarily a very pleasant experience. It was more slobbery and messy. Would that be correct? Now, were you a young starter? In other words, this wouldn't be. This isn't late teens. So you weren't 17 or 18. It's more early teens. Were you even a teenager?
I was a teenager.
Yeah. So, but you were like 13 or 14, something like that. Yeah. And was he slightly slightly taller than you, but not too tall?
Yeah,
like in other words, he wasn't really tall. And also, did he have dark hair as opposed to? Now, I'm not talking about black, but I'm talking about blondie brownie kind of hair. Yeah, I thought so. Okay, good. He also had blue eyes. I don't know if you remember. Did he have blue eyes?
I don't remember that.
Okay, well, if you find him again, you can check. Okay, I want you to focus now on his name, but don't say anything at all out loud. Okay, I want you to just focus on his name, and in your mind, I want you to imagine that you're back in that moment in time, that slobbery, messy kiss. Okay, good. And see his name in your mind. Okay. Now, be honest. There's no way I can know this name. Agreed?
Yeah.
Okay, good. I'm going to write down a name here. Okay, I'm not going to show you just yet. This is a strange name, unusual kind of name. Would that be correct?
Yes.
Okay. And is there? Hang on. For some reason, I got a second name. So a second name?
There is two names.
Oh, there's two names. Okay.
Well, no, it's one name, but two.
Okay. I've written something down, and actually I'm going to hand it to you, okay? But don't look at it just yet. Don't look at it. Okay, now she's got the piece of paper. Remember, Clara's got it, so I can't swap it or change it. Okay, for the first time, name out loud. What was his name?
His name, it was a nickname, Twinkle Toes.
Sorry.
I can't really remember his real name.
Oh, you can't remember his real name? So Twinkle Toes, as in like dancing Twinkle Toes?
I don't know where he got it from.
And there's no way I could have known that, right?
Yeah, no.
Have a look at what I wrote down for you just a second ago.
Oh my God. How did you know that? See, I don't get it. I don't get it.
So you spoke to me without speaking.
But how would you get Twinkle Toes? Okay, yeah, I could get the whole, it wasn't a pleasant experience. It was a bit messy and sloppy and whatever.
But actually, look, if I do this, we can reverse it. In other words, I can kind of become, if you like, the sender, and you can become the receiver this time. Now, obviously, you won't be able to get the full name, but I'm going to do this in permanent Sharpie marker, okay? So I've got permanent Sharpie marker here. I've got my wallet, all right? I'm going to take a card out, and once the cards are inside the wallet, you can't see them. So I'm going to take one out, and on this one, I'm actually going to write down just the initials of my first kiss. Okay, the girl. Okay, and I'm going to do it behind my back.
And I'm taking it's not your wife.
No, it's not the wife.
Okay.
It's not MF would have been her then. Okay, now I've done it behind my back, so it's a little bit scribbly. But I'm going to place this back inside my wallet so you can't see it. Okay, because it's important that you don't cheat either. All right, I'm going to stuff that, get that in there. All right, good. All right, now, be honest. Did you see what I wrote down?
No.
It is important.
Hand on my heart.
Now, if you were to guess right now, I'll be honest with you, you would get it wrong. Okay, so I need to actually kind of mentally send it to you. All right. And I'm going to say the letters of the alphabet out loud. And two letters, for whatever reason, are going to stand out to you. And I don't want you to change your mind. It's
I feel like I'm stalking you now.
No, but just look at me. And ABC. Oh, no, I'm going to do it the other way around. ZYXWVUTSRQPONMLKJHGFEDCBA. That's the alphabet backwards, in case you're wondering. Okay, I have it written down inside here. For the first time, name out loud the two initials that stood out to you now.
C and A, but I don't know why.
But why did you go with CA?
C, because you paused before you took a breath before it, and I don't know why A. I didn't get it
Clara,
right at all.
No, you're not going to believe this. The first girl I ever kissed, and I mean this very sincerely, her first name was Christina.
Woo! I'm 50-50 so far.
And her last name was Apple. Now, not Applegate, but Christina Apple. You're not going to believe this. Look, inside here, I wrote down just the initials of somebody. I want you to take it out. Christina Apple was my first kiss from the Folly in Waterford. Read out loud. What?
CA? I'm a genius.
There you go.
I'm pretty brilliant.
I sent it, and you got it.
Oh, thanks very much. You're making me feel intelligent there. How did okay. Do one more.
Oh, yeah, sure. Okay, I've got a dice here.
Sorry, am I putting you on the spot?
No, you're grand. I can keep going forever. I've got a dice here. Now, it's important for people at home. You take the dice.
Okay.
Die is the correct pronunciation, but we all say dice. So I want you to examine it. Make sure there's 6 numbers, okay? So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. They're all there.
Yeah.
Okay, roll it a couple of times just to make sure it's not loaded. In other words, different numbers come up every time. So there's 1, 6.
Couldn't get them if I wanted them. 3.
So different numbers come up each time. So here's the idea. Clara, in a moment I'm going to look away. And this is all about lie detection. See, we all look different, but we actually all look the same when we lie.
Okay.
A dilated pupil, an oblique eyebrow, an upturned lip.
Or a rubbing of the nose.
Rubbing the nose. See, you've been listening. This all tells me all the information I need to know. I'm going to look away. Sinead will keep an eye on me. I'll close my eyes. You'll roll the dice, and you'll remember whatever number it lands on. But then you'll cover it with your hands so I can't see the number. Does that make sense?
Okay.
I'm going to look the other way.
Newspapers.
Okay, Sinead will keep an eye on me.
Yeah. Okay.
Okay, is your hand covering it?
Yeah.
Do you know what number it landed on?
Yeah.
Okay. Look at me, but don't say anything until I ask you to. So here's the idea. I want you to say no every time. I'm going to ask you, is it a 1? Is it a 2? Is it a 3? Is it a 4? Is it a 5? Is it a 6? Say no every time. It's my job to figure out when you're lying. And as a matter of fact, people at home can join in this. Listen to vocal intonation, okay, when you're at home. See, can you figure out any change in Clara's voice. So, no every time. Is it a 1?
No.
Is it a 2?
No.
Is it a 3?
No.
Is it a 4?
No.
Is it a 5?
No.
Is it a 6?
No.
Very slight, minuscule hesitation on the number 5 there. So it's definitely a 5. Is it a 5?
Yes.
Okay,
it
good.
is.
Okay, this time we're going to...
I really tried.
Now, that could just be luck. I could have just guessed. 1 in 6 chance. Not that impressive, okay? So here's how we'll up the stakes. And I mean this very sincerely. This isn't a presentational ploy. This time I'm going to gamble €100 on it. So in other words, if I get it wrong, I'll give you €100. Okay,
What
roll it
happens?
again.
Okay.
Okay, I'll close my eyes.
Okay, done.
Are you happy with the number that it turned up?
Why?
You can change
Okay, I'm going to do it again.
Oh, no, it's up to you. You want to do it again?
Yeah. I did want to do it again, surprisingly enough. Yeah, I'm ready now.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Okay. Look at me. Just say no every time, okay? Is it a 1?
No.
Is it a 2?
No.
Is it a 3?
No.
Is it a 4?
No.
Is it a 5?
No.
Is it a 6?
No.
Actually, you gave off 2 pieces of information there. 2.
God darn you.
And you felt yourself giving off 2. So, I think...
You know the 2 of them, don't you?
Well, I do know you said that. You know the 2 of them, don't you? So it's definitely not a 2, so because you wouldn't have said 2 in the sentence there. So it's definitely the first number was a 1, and then you change your mind, and now it's a 6. Is that correct?
Yeah.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Be honest. Show me.
I swear to God, yeah. There's the 6, and the first one that I rejected was a 1.
Okay, I'll tell you what. Last time, but this is important. This is the very last time, and I mean this. You're going to roll it underneath your hand, so you can't see what number comes up. So you don't know, and I won't know. And this time, let's make it really, really interesting. €1,000 if I get it wrong. For real. So roll around underneath your hand.
I could do with €1,000. Those Jimmy shoes are calling. My hands are so hot they're not moving.
Okay, and tell me when I can look back.
Okay.
Are you happy the number is covered up?
Okay.
Now, you don't know what it is, do
I
you?
haven't a clue.
All right. See, there's no point me asking you.
I don't know why I'm putting on a blank face.
There's no point me asking. But here's the idea. You see, you think you don't know, but actually your subconscious mind does know. Okay, because the way you roll the die, the way you roll the die, every single muscle, nerve, and fiber in your hand is actually tracking that die. Okay, you don't know consciously, but you do know subconsciously. And all I need to ask your subconscious mind is it a 1? Is it a 2? And you don't even have to say anything. Is it a 3? Is it a 4? Is it a 5? 4? Is it a 5? 4? Your eyes are dilating. 4. Yeah, I'm going to go with a 4. Have a look.
Darn you! I could have done with €1,000. That's amazing. That's amazing. Okay, I'm going to go take a break and we're going to come back.
Great.
I'm in shock. Okay, Keith Barry has kindly agreed to take a caller on air. So if you want to come on and have a game with Keith, you can ring Sinead on 0818 300 103. That's 0818 300 103. And now, Dolores from Clara joins us on the line. Good morning to you, Dolores.
Good morning.
Well, are you nervous?
No.
There's nothing to be nervous of.
Talk away.
Okay, Dolores, how are you this morning?
Grand, and yourself?
I'm very good, thanks. So there's two things that we're going to do here. Well, if we have time, we'll do two. But if not, we'll just do the one thing with you. We can do this again in studio at a moment, Clara, to make sure you're happy that everything is kind of above board and fair.
Okay.
But for now, Dolores,
Yep.
you know, to think of a truly random thought, it's actually quite a difficult thing, believe it or not. If I asked all the listeners out there, including yourself, to actually think of a vegetable, real quick, think of a vegetable. Okay, most people, not everybody, Dolores, but most people are thinking of a carrot, okay? I don't think you're the type of person who would think of a carrot. So what kind of vegetable did you think of?
Turnip.
Turnip, see? And that's a really good thing. That means you're right-brained. It means you're more imaginative than a lot of people. And it means this next experiment may or may not work, which is kind of edgy and interesting for me. So, Dolores, here's what we're going to do. I've got a target word that I've written down. I folded up and put it inside my wallet. Now, Clara, can you see inside my wallet? Do you know what it is? The word?
No idea.
Okay. So I did that earlier on the way down here. Scribble it down. So Dolores, isn't it? Mm-hmm. Here's what I need you to do. By the way, do you have a newspaper or a magazine right next to you at all?
Yeah.
Yeah, okay, here's what I need you to do. Let's make this as random as it can possibly get. I want you to just go ahead and grab the magazine or the newspaper and open it up to any page for me. But one which has plenty of text, so not just one with a picture.
Say that again?
One which has plenty of writing on it, so not one with just a picture.
They're all pictures.
Oh, that's okay. Is there some writing in there as well?
Yeah.
Okay, here's what I want you to do. Browse through the magazine and I want you to just go ahead and find a word, an interesting word. So not a small word like the and of. Try and pick an interesting word, any word that you like, and tell me when you've got a word in mind.
I don't know. I have one word here.
Okay, good. For the first time, name out loud, what word did you get?
Subsequent.
Subsequent. Now, why did you get drawn to the word subsequent, do you think?
I don't know. Just different from the others are so the same.
Okay, so subsequent. Do you think it's possible for me to have influenced you over the radio waves to come up with one word out of thousands in that magazine, and the word today is subsequent? Do you think that's possible?
No.
No? Well, I think anything is possible. Okay, and that's why earlier on the way down here, I scribbled something down and I did put it inside my wallet, okay? Now, I don't want to touch it at all. Inside my wallet, okay, there is a piece of paper. It's folded up, Clara. I want you to take it out.
Pulled out by the lovely assistant.
Yeah, open it up all the way and read out loud what it says. Now, remember, this has been on the desk in full view the whole time right here in front of Clara.
Yeah,
Clara, read out loud what...
Subsequent.
What does it say from the top?
My target word today, arrow down, subsequent.
That was my target word all along, Dolores.
That is good.
Yeah, that is very good. You're freaky.
And Dolores, the next time you see Jim, will you tell him I said hello?
Who's Jim? Oh, Jim!
Yeah.
Who's Jim? Is it who?
Well, I have a brother-in-law called Jim.
Yeah, and you haven't seen him in a while, so tell him I said hello the next time. And by the way, he's got a stomach problem at the moment that he should go and get checked out.
Oh, I didn't hear that one now.
No, you'll have to tell him. But when you tell him, it'll all make sense to him.
Right here.
Okay, thanks a million.
That's grand. Thank you very much.
All right,
Dolores.
thanks,
do you want,
Dolores.
do you want another caller? We've about 4 minutes. Yeah, Sinead, we'll take
Yeah,
another
why not?
caller. Yeah. How did you know about Jim?
Well, just straight away by talking to her, I just knew straight away about Jim. He also has got a stomach problem. Not a serious one, but he should just get it looked at.
But like, she didn't mention anything about her family. She was just rooting through a paper. Like, I can't see any giveaways there.
Yeah, I know. Well, just maybe I'm lying all along. In other words, maybe I am psychic.
Did you know Dolores?
What do you think? Do you...
No, I don't think, but I think you need to tell people that you don't know.
No, I don't know her. I mean, Sinead Hubble out there, she put Dolores through at random. But not only that, people, I'm sure, I don't know, can we find out from Sinead where Dolores was from even? So people can...
I do know where Dolores was from, Clara, wasn't she? I think Sinead.
There you go. So people down in Clara, feel free to question Dolores. And no, it's basically, if you actually... believe anything that I say, don't. In other words, when I say I'm not psychic and I don't believe in psychics, maybe I actually am.
Okay. Now
Or maybe I'm just messing with you again.
I'm going to. I think Kevin, are you for us on Midlands Today?
Yeah, I'm here, yeah.
Fantastic. You can have your chat there away with Keith.
How's it going, Kevin? Are you well?
Not so bad, Keith. How are you?
Grand, thanks. Kevin, do you play poker at all?
I used to.
Yeah, good. I thought that. So here's the idea. This is why I got this specifically ready for you. Sitting in front of me, the second I got you online, I put a deck of cards. Correct, Clara?
He did.
Now, Clara, do we have a deck of cards here at all before
No,
this
we
moment in
didn't.
time? So I knew this would be the type of guy who would be into cards. Now, you haven't played in a while, but I want you to imagine that you're back playing cards again. Okay, can you do that for me?
Yeah, certainly.
All right, now here's the idea. I will tell you one thing in advance. There's a deck of cards in front of me, and about an hour ago, I put one card the wrong way. In other words, it's reversed inside the pack. It's going the wrong way, okay, Kevin?
Okay.
All right, so here's what I want you to do. Imagine that you're back in a poker game, but you're losing, okay? So you're really annoyed.
That's easy to imagine.
Yeah, I know, because you lost quite a bit, and that's why you gave it up. So here's the idea. I want you to imagine that you've gambled everything, your house, your wife, your car, everything on this thing, right? Okay. So, but you've lost. You're so annoyed that you take the deck of cards and you're on a ship. Imagine you're on a ship playing this game of cards, and you run up to the top deck and you fire the deck of cards off the top of the ship in anger. Now, I need you to actually see this in your mind. See all of the cards fluttering down to the water, and imagine that all the cards have landed face down, except one card, for whatever reason, has landed face up in the ocean. Tell me when you've got that done in your mind.
Yeah, okay.
Okay, good. Clara's here for evidence. For the first time, name out loud, what card did you see landing face up?
The Jack of Hearts.
The Jack of Hearts. Now, I'm going to give you 3 seconds to change your mind. Most people do not change their minds. I actually believe you're the type of person, you're very obsessive, almost compulsively so I don't think you'll change your mind. But I'm going to give you 3 seconds to do so. 2, 1, do you want to change your mind?
No.
No, okay. So the Jack of Hearts you saw. Inside this closed, sealed pack of cards, okay, there's a deck of cards. Okay, I don't want to touch them, but there is one card face down, Clara, okay?
Okay.
It's right at the very top. It's the only one face down. Now, can you confirm it is the only one?
It is the only one.
Take it out, turn it over, and tell them what it is.
It's the Jack of Hearts.
You are kidding me.
I swear to God.
I thought about changing it to a 2 of clubs for some reason, but then I said, no, I'll stick with the Jack of Hearts.
Yeah, and I knew you'd stick, because if you...
I don't know where the Jack of Hearts came from.
Yeah, well, I do. I actually influenced you to think of it.
I'll have to read your books.
Yeah, I have none out just yet, but I will recommend some books. Once again, if people want to ask me anything on Twitter or on Facebook, just follow me there, and I'll answer any questions personally, and I'll point you in the right direction where you can learn some of this stuff.
Absolutely, absolutely. And when is your show on again? I think we might have to try and get a Christmas present for that.
Yeah,
Okay.
it might be a good stocking filler. So it's on in January and February. Clara has the dates
Yeah,
there.
it's Friday and Saturday, the 10th and 11th of February at the Heritage Hotel in Portlaoise, and February the 12th, that's a Sunday, at the Mullingar Arts Centre.
I'm absolutely still shocked. That's fantastic.
Well, thanks
Thanks a
very
million.
much, Kevin.
For the day, for a Friday.
Yeah, and come on stage if you come to one of the gigs. You never know. I might hypnotise you into doing some crazy stuff.
I definitely will.
Thanks a million, Kevin.
Thanks, Kevin.
Thank
Thank
you
you.
Cheers.
very much
Bye bye.
Unfortunately, that's where we have to leave it. I'm actually gone overtime, but thank you very much for stopping into us today.
You're more than welcome.
I
You
had
you would have
loads.
you would have thought of the Queen of Hearts, by the way.
Would I?
Yeah.
Okay, I don't know. I can't remember. Thanks very much.
Thanks.